Amazing. Welcome everyone to the Master Your Emotion and Find Your Truth and Live with Your Truth. I couldn't remember actually. That was last year. I was keeping carry on just only living with the truth or just only speaking the truth. By the way, by 2024, we need to speak and we need to live with the truth, our own truth. So today is a number 41. Wow, that's an amazing number. I would like to give you some description around the angelic number and numerology, but if you're drawn in, you can go and do your work. I'm not giving you all information. I'm not supposed to, because that will be disempowering you and you won't be rise and learn your lesson. So 41 number is a number of the stability, a number of the security, a number of, I would like to say, protection. So you will be safe, you will be feeling safe. And also you need to really connect on your deeper level with your I would like to say the word is coming, consciousness, your own truth. But by the way, we're going to talk about the consciousness. So yes, let's go dive deep in today to my podcast, actually to our podcast, because I've got again the beautiful soul, Barabara with, and she was with us last year and in November. Actually, I think so. That was the 6th of the November. Maybe that's that kind of the things. Anyway, so she accepted my invitation again, and today we would like to talk about the human consciousness, and also we would like to talk a little bit about the being a psychic. So that's all connected. So welcome warmly, Barbara. Would you like to introduce yourself this time by your own instead of me just only saying lots of different things?
Yes. Well, good morning, Gabriela. Thanks for having me, and hello to everyone. And you know, my latest description of myself is I'm kind of a peace pilgrim. Is that I'm a psychic channel, I'm a composer, I'm an author, I do a lot of different things. Really the most important work I think that I've done has been not just the channeling of Albert Einstein and a group of very dedicated, compassionate souls who are in afterlife, helping us find a pathway to world peace. But it's what my colleagues and I at the Synergy Alliance, all those many years ago, I started in 93, I think. What we did with that information, how we tested it, because they wanted us to test these theories they had about this way to resolve conflict first with ourselves before we go into the arena. So that's really the decades of experience and research and development into what we call conflict revolution, which is a different than resolution. But I've been teaching and training that since 1999. So in this time in my life, I'm getting on in years, and I decided that the way the world was right now, that this information and this conversation had to be generated and brought out. And so I started my World Peace Tour on July 9th of 2023. And I left my home in October of last year. And I've been on the road ever since, teaching and training and talking a lot and channeling and doing some singing too. But just trying to generate this conversation about world peace, one person at a time, starting with each of us within ourselves. And so here I'm in the UK now. I'm here for a couple of months, and I'm traveling, connecting with people in person, like you and I are going to connect when I get down to the southern part of the country, and other people. And also there's a lot of spiritualist churches in the UK who already, you know, that's their roots, is the communication with people who are in afterlife. So there's kind of a natural audience for that. And so far, it's just been amazing. I can't even say it's been so amazing. I haven't even done anything yet. But yeah, so that's who I am. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing. Yeah, just when you said amazing, because that vibration, where you go, that places, when the people really know who they really truly are, maybe not really discover fully, because it's impossible to do that once. The work at once, but definitely that vibration. But even sometimes I experienced yesterday, even I went to that spiritual event, and when I had my talk, even I just only spotted few people in my audience. They couldn't grasp the concept which I was talking about. But anyway, we are planting the seeds. That's how could I stress enough? That's the amazing. We're planting the seeds, and the rest will come. Thank you so much for sharing. Would you mind just when you talk, because like I just said, we're going to talk. See, I'm excited. That's a contagious. You just only said excited. I'm just only moving. Maybe I can go outside. Uh, okay, just grant myself a little bit. So let's go talk about the consciousness. So what is the consciousness? Actually, and another part of this question, because that's really crucial, I need to ask, is the consciousness was created by someone?
In our model, which comes from Einstein, consciousness is the byproduct of what we call compassion with a capital C, compassion as the fifth fundamental force of the universe. So in a science-y kind of way, it describes this intelligence that is behind creation. In a spiritual sort of way, it talks about compassion with a capital C that gives us that root inside ourselves that we're all connected. You know, we are all one at our root, and compassion gives us that. And in our model, compassion impels consciousness. Actually, compassion as the fifth fundamental force of the universe impels energy in the void to step out of the void and create consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it does that is because compassion with a capital C, our fifth fundamental force, the root of it is compass. And one thing a compass does is it creates circles, like a compass that creates circles.
Mm-hmm.
So when compassion impels energy to step out of nothing and into absolutely everything to create your consciousness or my consciousness, it creates this electromagnetic domain. It's more than a circle, it's a sphere, actually. It's electromagnetic energy. And what it's doing is it's surrounding the subset of mathematics that are at the root of you sitting in that chair today. So everything that you experience as a human being in the world becomes a part of this. We call it a compilation of consciousness. So it's compiling the mathematics that are going to be you. And so that really to us is the root of what consciousness is. And in there's what we call the human intention. And what that is it just distinguishes us from the trees or the everything else, the rocks, the animals, that we come here with this intention that we're going to have this human experience. And so there's certain dimensions that are involved with being human, the three human dimensions. And so that's all wrapped up in there. And so that's really the root. And then how it gets into, where we're sitting here, separate, you're separate from me, but we're really all one. That's the journey. Yeah, that's the journey.
Yeah, that's so beauty. And that's why that's the part of this concept that people couldn't grasp. They're saying, oh, I'm separate. That's a separation now at the moment on the planet Earth. But there's a lot of people now starting awake. So yeah, the consciousness is changing. So that's something is a trigger inside them to do that movement. So that's compassion. You said that's the fifth fundamental force. Is that right? Of the universe. So that
Yes.
compassion is the big capital letter, compassion.
Okay. Yeah, so very specific to this work. I don't know if any other science or spiritual philosophy holds that, but that's what our Einstein told us from Afterlife, and when he gave us the unified field theory, because this is how life is created.
Okay, so why is the capital C instead of the small c? Because that's crucial. That's really means something.
Yeah, because it's like the difference between God with a capital G and a God. There's a God Baal, there's a God Dionysus, there's a God, but God with a capital G is that mysterious, miraculous manifestation force that's creating all of life according to our philosophies, right? So compassion with a capital C is meant to indicate this particular definition of compassion, that it is the divine creative intelligence that's impelling the creation of the physical world one step at a time, using the other four fundamental forces. So that's what I love about this whole philosophy and this whole system, is that it's rooted in science. It's not just, from some other planet or an alien. I mean, this is really, really rooted in earth science. Well, a lot of different sciences.
Yeah, but when you've been talking, and I had a message like, oh, that could be also that explanation is like, okay, capital capital C, is that mean the numerological number? I'm not really good at the numerological number, but definitely that could be in the Roman numbers, like something meaning like a number, numerology, and that could be also, yeah. Anyway, that's the Albert Einstein. So that's why we've got that stuff. Yeah, maybe he gave me that stuff now. Thank you so much, wherever. That's a contagious. But definitely, would you mind just only talk, because you mentioned another four forces of the universe, would you like to tell us a little bit, just only touch, so the people, if they will be drawn, they can go and research by them own self?
Yeah, absolutely. So the four fundamental forces, according to real science, not our neo science, but
yeah, I know, yeah.
Electromagnetics, gravity, strong nuclear force, and weak nuclear force. And what it is scientists have surmised that these four fundamental forces are the energy that exerts influence on consciousness, I guess, to create matter. So electromagnetics has this influence on energy where it ignites things, right? Electromagnetics ignites things. Gravity has this influence where it guides things. The strong nuclear force is about attracting and repelling this action. And the weak nuclear force is about the transformation of things. When something changes from red to green or from 2 to 3, that's sort of the weak nuclear force. So these are the actual scientific four fundamental forces. And Einstein just came in to say, there's one more. It's the fifth fundamental force. It's the overarching intelligence that is using these four fundamental forces to impel the creation of this physical world. And so therefore the separation, one step at a time.
Yeah, so that we need to keep that all the five in the balance, and also on the top. That's how just only perceiving that. So then on the top there'll be our fifth one. So which one? We couldn't exist without that.
Right.
That makes sense. That's amazing. And also the fourth one just only brought the attention for me today. It's like a transformation. It's like so how is that word now is showing up? It's like lots of people transform their life, and they've been drawn to find their own truth and find their own maybe the psychic ability. So would you mind just only talk about the being psychic, or maybe you can tell it a bit? I know that's so many questions now I'm talking about.
Oh, that's fine.
But let me just only ask you and tell my audience how your journey began to being psychic.
My journey began with music. I was very, very young when I started teaching myself to play piano. Now my parents and my siblings all sang, and my mom was the choir director, so it wasn't so unusual. But I was probably 5 when I started to climb up and do that. And then I started writing music at 12. And so most of my life growing up was this dream of being a rock star. That was the only thing I ever wanted from the time I was really, really little. So I did. I went up right out onto the road. I had 2 sets of original material after high school, and I was on the road for 20 years as in rock and roll. And that action of writing music is what I call, I lump in a bunch of stuff into what I call the intuitive arts. So, you have music as an art and drawing as an art, but behind all of that art is this connection to this intuition, to this spiritual side, to to the mystery, all of that artists, you know, are known for. However, within us as humans, we have these human dimensions, and one of them that's very important is called intuition. So people innately have in their makeup, just like you have a liver and a heart, we all have this dimension, it's called, of intuition that makes us all connected to that intuitive, mysterious energy just innately. We don't think we are,
Yeah.
but it is the structure of how we're made up.
Yeah. So this is a one part of the being a psychic as a human. I mean, having the intuition.
Yes.
So this is like a force which I'm supposed to be constantly driven by, but that, like we know, we are all being suppressed and conditioned eons times at the beginning, actually, since. Anyway, that's far, far away. So how is to be being psychic? How to know if I'm psychic or I'm not psychic, or how I can unravel this for myself?
You know, when I started to actually move out of just the realm of musical expression and into this, you know, I started to realize that I knew things. Like I had a friend, I was very young, I'm in my 20s, and I had a friend and I just knew he was going to get divorced. I just knew in my bones. And then I talked myself out of it. Oh, you're just, you know, making that up. And then when he got divorced, I thought, well, I had this weird feeling in my body. It wasn't just a thought in my head. It was like, I just knew this thing. I couldn't prove it. And at the time, I didn't even mention anything to him because I didn't want to, you know. So some of it starts that way. And what I would like to tell everybody, because I think everybody has the ability to be psychic. Not everybody has the ability maybe to channel Einstein, but people can sing. Maybe they can't be opera singers, but they can sing.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is that it's really a trial and error. I didn't just wake up one day and decide that I was psychic and then went straight there. It was like kind of learning, and then I was brought to a woman who was a channel just through synergy. I wasn't looking for a channel, but my friend's mom was a psychic, and so I started seeing her. So I would say one of the best ways to get to know your own intuition is to put it to the test. One thing you can do, one very easy thing you can do is take a day or take a time when you're not rushing off somewhere and have to be somewhere, and decide that you're going to go somewhere you've never been, and that you're going to use your intuition to get there. And give yourself enough time to get lost, because it's going to be, you know, a struggle. I did this, I don't remember what year it was. I think it was somehow in the like 1994. I was driving to Chicago and I thought, I'm going to do this. And I want to know at what exit on this major city there's 4 exits, which one has the bookstore that I'm looking for? And right away I heard 4th. Like without hesitation, it's 4th. Then my mind started in, well, you know, if it's not the 4th, then you're going to have to drive all the way back. But if you get off on the first one and you drive to all 4 of them one at a time, now you'll be safe. If you know, well, it was at the 4th. And I did do that. And so the next time I didn't doubt quite as much. So when you see it for yourself and you're having this relationship with it and you're open to learning how to develop it, these are just little things that can really help. Because don't you feel there's a physical body thing that happens. It's more than just a thinking. It's like a feeling that we get in our bodies.
Yeah, that's amazing, because that you remind me myself yesterday. I was driving to that event, and I love, actually, I don't like that navigation. I love holding the map, proper map, and you're looking. But when you're driving, you couldn't look at the map and you can't drive. It's not like that. But anyway, I said, okay, let me just only trust this navigation. Anyway, that navigation lost. by herself, because there was a new buildings, new area, they are just only building up or something like that. And then I said, oh my goodness, where I have to go? Because that was like a circle over, just only showing nothing to me. And I said, okay, let me trust my intuition. I didn't pay attention. I just only failed. To be on, I would like to say failed, but I've learned the lesson straight away, because my first thought told me, go left. And then I went right. And then literally what you said, I just only need to just reverse and just go back. I said, I knew it. Why I didn't go that way? So yes, first thought is that amazing thought. Just go for it. So I would like to say that stuff. Yeah, definitely. Is any kind of a different form to be a psychic? Just only intuition is a psychic, or any different things?
Well, I think I personally think everyone has this. Everybody has this. It's like a spiritual organ.
Yeah.
But to be the psychic that I've become is decades of trial and error, of experience, of channeling for different people, of having enough stuff come about that was told through my channeling.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest things in my life was that on August 16th, 1994, I even remember the day we did this channel. And then it was the angels. We were channeling angels. And they said, something big is about to happen. If we had to pick a date, we'd say September 19th. Now, my channeling isn't predictive as a rule. There are predictions that naturally come up, but you don't come to me if you want to know if your boyfriend's coming back. You come to me if you want to know how to heal your life and how to gain this mastery of yourself. So for them to say a date, well, the three of us, this was Kim and Teresa and I, we wrote our first book, Diaries of a Psychic Sorority. Mm-hmm. We hadn't written it yet. And so we thought, it was August, so we thought it was September, another month, September 19th, we're going to be on Oprah. That's what we thought. And of course, it came and went, and nothing. And every year, about September 18th, we'd reach out to each other and say, something big is about to happen if we had to pick a date. And that went on until 2011 or 2001. Mm-hmm. When September 11th came, and we all kind of thought, well, they always say they're not really good at time frames, so maybe that was the big thing that was going to happen, and we kind of forgot about it. But then in 2007, I was invited to speak and channel at an event that was broadcast worldwide. It was the Crimson Circle's Quantum Leap, and it was a live event in Taos, and it was going to be the first time that I was going to channel Einstein live worldwide.
Oh, I got a goosebumps.
And I got there and I took the program and I thought, oh yeah, September 18th, that's when it starts. And I was on September 19th. Something big is about to happen. If we had to pick a date, we'd say September 19th. And so here I am, how many years later, from 1994 to 2007, till that prophecy and that intuition came forward. So the mystery of tapping into this power we have is not just cut and dry, like people want to know that, well, I can, do this or that or this. It's a very fluid, mysterious, and it's driven by compassion with a capital C, I think. So the more we can surrender to the process, which is what conflict revolution teaches us how to do.
Yeah, just understand. Yeah, that's so many people just nowadays say, "Oh my goodness, I need a quick fix. I need to go quicker, and I need the and the ego." Yeah, like you just only had this channeling message. You've been talking about the ego, how we need to put the ego. I would like to say on the back seat, and the ego is supposed to watch us for a minute, and then we can go drive straight away. But you mentioned, I would like to leave it at ego. I don't want to talk too much about the ego today, but I would like to talk about the angelic beings, because that's also, actually, you're reading telepathically, but that's just only written on my paper. And I got that message before I just only pop up, just only press the button of the Zoom saying, okay, Spirit, please give me that kind of the question, which I would need to talk today. And now, even without asking, you are just only going through. Amazing. So talk a little bit more about the angelic beings. So are you channeling them as well, or?
Well, I think, yes, I do believe that within this party of voices that there are very deeply rooted divine angelic beings. What happened though was when I grew up and I was going to my mentor and she was channeling, she was just an antenna. That's how she described it to me, that she went out into outer space. She didn't even remember what she said, but she described herself as an antenna that could pick up information coming from your higher power and feed it back. And so when I started to channel, which was like spontaneous automatic writing that I then took into speaking, that's who I thought I was. Just an antenna. There wasn't angels. But when Kim and Teresa came into the scene and we started doing these groups and they asked, who are you? And the voice said, you can call us angels. And I was skeptical because I'm skeptical as a person, as a rule. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we could all use a healthy dose of skepticism because truth will stand up to skepticism. So we talked about it, the three of us. It's like, I said, I don't know how comfortable I am with this. Is that true? Are they angels? I don't know. I've never had anything identify itself. And we all decided that we didn't know the answer to that, but we did know that what they were telling us was absolutely transforming our lives. It was mind-boggling how much it was changing us from within and with each other. And so we didn't care if it was the Easter Bunny. we were changing our lives. But what I think happened was that if you look at the long view, and you look at me as a 5-year-old climbing up onto the piano bench to figure out how to. Einstein was there helping. When I started to write music, Einstein was there. When I started to channel, Einstein was there. He didn't call himself that. But it took them a long time to reveal who they really were, to gain our trust.
Yeah.
And for us to participate. And finally, he came out of the closet. You know, I started channeling in 1987, and he finally identified himself in 1998. So there was 11 years of channeling until he showed himself. And I think that was for my sake, because this can be a challenge for my mental health. It has been through the years to think I'm delivering this unified field theory and maps of human consciousness and the scientific definition of compassion from Albert Einstein. It's taken me a good while to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I that's how it has been for me.
Okay, how did you know that's Albert Einstein? Because that's how many, sometimes the people just only channel their messages. So like, that was also, I would like to articulate the stuff you said. They couldn't remember what actually they said or she said, because to that channeling. So every time when I'm channeling message, like yesterday, I was just only paying attention to the people who coming in close to me. I'm saying, pay attention what I would like to, or what I'm going to say, or what kind of the message will be go through me, because I can't remember anything. And if you're going to ask me, can you repeat it? I'm not going to repeat for you because I don't know what I'm talking about, actually, what I'm saying. Okay. So that way, so that's amazing. So how did you know is that the Albert Einstein is not a kind of the shapeshifter or just only different? That's so many speculation. The people I know, they've got a low vibration and not resolved trauma. And that's why.
Well, it like I said, it was a process. So going
Yes.
from being an antenna to channeling angels, that was several years of, and then feeling like, yeah, these angels, man, they are angels because this is so divine. It's just, and it's all about making peace, and it's all about this. So then when we put out our first book, Diaries of a Psychic Sorority, my literary agent got a call from a tabloid in London, a paranormal metaphysical tabloid, that was looking for an interview with Princess Diana from Beyond the Grave on the 1-year anniversary of her death. And I'd never done any such thing. But that was the beginning of me going, well, could I? I mean, I'm pretty skeptical, but I mean, we can try it. And from that came Party of 12, the afterlife interviews. And it was one interview with Diana, and then we would sort of regroup and say, well, who else? And we'd talk, and, Elvis didn't want to, but then, Nicole Brown Simpson,
Okay.
Johnny Versace came up, John Kennedy. And then when John Kennedy came up, he said, we will be telling you from here on in who is going to be next up for their interviews, because we've been doing this for a while. This isn't your idea. This is our idea. We brought you in. And so when he introduced and said Albert Einstein's up next, who doesn't love Einstein, right? I mean, I wasn't a big, huge fan, but who doesn't love him? But when I started to channel him, this vibration inside me was so familiar. It was the voice of my channeling. When I started to channel, I had this very strange accent that I could never replicate when I wasn't channeling. And we could never figure out what was it. And one day I saw this clip of somebody talking, and she was Yiddish. I said, that's what that accent is that I have. That was before I knew it was Einstein. That's what that accent, it sounds so Yiddish, So when I did that interview with him, I just was floored. It's like, oh my God, this soul's been with me my whole life. From my first automatic writing, when I said, who are you? And they said, we are sound. And I thought, Einstein, you were sound, and you were there helping me get up on that piano bench. So it was this body feeling, but I didn't tell the world that. I mean, I published Party of 12, but I kept channeling angels, because this is just crazy that I would be channeling Einstein and all these people, but I'm still doing it. So it took me another good long period of time till after 9/11, when I thought the world needs this information. I'm coming out of the closet. And I had a group where I actually admitted we're not angels anymore. We're the party. And it was amazing. It was just phenomenal. So I would still apologize to people you don't have to believe it's Einstein, but boy, it's really brilliant. It could be him. And then when I did the quantum leap, everybody rushed the stage and said, stop saying that. That's Einstein. I know it's Einstein. Stop pretending it's not Einstein. So that was my transformation of getting there.
Yeah, that was a big confirmation as well. Transformation, big confirmation is that, yeah, that's amazing. Oh my goodness, I had a question. But before, I don't want to keep you long, but also that message came to me before I just only sat down and I pressed that button and meet you today. So I was like, would you mind just, if you, of course, okay, one more question before I'm going to ask the last one. How you can channel? So you need to have a preparation, you need to prepare yourself, or you need to just only take nice breathing, or just only you sat down and say, okay, I'm ready.
I can slip in and out of channeling without any preparation, and I'm sure that I do in certain situations. But if I'm doing a group and I've invited people in to come to my group channel, then I'm going to just start us all together. We're all going to start breathing together and turning inward and getting into that place. And then we evoke the invocation. We command that only the most divine light shine down upon you at this time, and the greatest good be present here. And then I open to the energies, and it isn't always Albert Einstein. It's a party that's pretty huge, of souls who are all working with us to help evolve this planet.
Okay.
And sometimes it's your people. If I'm doing a reading for you, or I'm talking to you directly, it's your spirits and guides coming through. Sometimes there was a whole session I did early on where it was just a whole bunch of different souls who had never had a chance to speak through a human voice before that were coming through me, and you could see they had never really done it. And so I trust the process so thoroughly, and because of what I've been through, my empirical experience, And it can be fairly seamless, though, I have to admit. I can slip into channeling with my eyes open and convenient.
Yeah, that's so easy. That's amazing. So you don't have to sit and prepare. Of course, you need to take a nice few breaths in and just only prepare your body in that way, but an intention. Would you mind just only channel some information today for my audience, or just only last, I don't know, or if you would like to tell the message for them from yourself?
Um, I wouldn't mind to do a little channeling. Would you have a question you want me to?
Oh yes, I've
Or,
got a question. So how they can bring them peace inside themselves? Because that's really is around the peace. When you've got that peace inside you, then the rest will come straight away in front of you. So any kind of the information like how the people can bring the much more peace inside themselves.
okay,
That would be
I can
great.
channel that. Sure. All right. So
Sorry, I'm
let's.
just only saying thank you to the spirit.
Thank you. So let's just. I'm going to go ahead and sort of disconnect from the. I usually turn off my video, but I'm happy leaving it
Oh, you
on.
can turn off. Yes, please do that if you'd like to.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. Yes, that's
yes.
better. Okay.
Yeah, that's better. So people can concentrate on your voice.
Yes. So let's just take a moment and take a breath in. And as you breathe in, feel that energy going all the way down into your lungs. And as it gets into your lungs, feel as that energy is moving through your body. And as you breathe out, imagine letting go of all obstacles, obstructions, debris, waste, anything that you don't need. And so as you keep breathing this way slowly and intentionally, we will command that only the most divine light shine down upon you at this time, that the greatest good be present here. It is such an honor to sit before your circle. We are indeed a great gathering of powerful souls who are bonded in the afterlife from our actual empirical experiences when we were on the planet. Because when you leave your life, when you're ready to put your body aside, whatever you are still emotionally attached to, you are going to bring with you into the afterlife. And this is one reason why there's so many reincarnating souls that come in together life after life, because when you love your children and you're about to leave the planet, you take that love with you, and that programs the mathematics of your next experience and informs that. So as you are here sitting, listening to the sound of our voice, and you're breathing in, understand that at your very root, you are located in the center of the earth, the very center of the planet, this mother that births all humanity is at your root. And so you're not out in outer space. You're not just free floating around somewhere. You are rooted deep, deep within Mother Earth. And your physical world that's on the surface of the planet, where you're sitting in your chair and your body is being created, that is the result of what we call the three human dimensions. So from that source in the center of the earth, there runs this gravitational wave that gets to the surface of the planet, and it contains everything that you are experiencing, starting with your body. And your body is showing up in the physical world. It's projecting and then perceiving the universe in the lens of this physical world. And you who are in that physical world oftentimes feel as if you are a victim to what's going on around you, as if you are not connected to the root of the wars and the fighting and the climate change, or however you look at what's happening around the world that seems so crazy right now and so anything but at peace. But what we want to tell you is that you have the power, and it's contained within that space between the center of the earth and your physical body and your own gravitational wave. You have your own gravitational wave. It's like a spotlight that's shining through, literally through the earth. And it's carrying all of the mathematics and everything that's going to be form in the lens. And on that wave are these 3 human dimensions. And so what we would like to inspire all of your listeners today is to begin to get to know yourself. Picture yourself this way, this big. Your energy is this big and actually bigger, but you have this incredible, deep, grounded connection and this gravitational wave to the center of the earth, the source, the void where everything begins. And on that wave, these 3 human dimensions are emotion, intuition, and intellect. And it's because you have these 3, we call them spiritual organs, that you are human, that you're able to have a human experience. And these 3 human dimensions, when they operate correctly together, like an operating engine, then you are able to manifest in the lens the highest good. And the trick is, it's very simple, it's hard to do, but it's simple to understand, is that first of all, emotion in your solar plexus is the fuel that's going to fuel the creation of the physical world. It's more than just your feelings. And as it moves up that gravitational wave, it turns into the 2nd dimension of intuition, which is the voice of your emotion, which is also the voice of the compassion within you, with a capital C, telling you the next most advantageous step to take for the good of the whole operating system, starting with you. And intuition is never going to lie to you. And we would say that every single human being on the planet, and who's ever been on the planet, and who is listening to these words, have a perfect emotion, intuition structure. There's nothing in conflict here. Even the deepest, most powerfully painful, depressive, angry, anxious emotions are perfect. They're all part of creating the human experience. And as they move up into intuition, they're going to inform you about the next step to take. And they know much more than the 3rd human dimension, which is intellect, where the ego does reside. And the important thing to remember is that the power to make a decision lies with the ego. So intuition can be telling you, rest, turn left, stop. And the intellect has the power to say, I'm not going to turn left, I'm going to turn right, and then turn right. And it's not that that's going to be a terrible, terrible outcome. It's just that if you want to learn to be intuitively driven, the area that you work on is your intellect. Because in a perfectly aligned human system, here's what the intellect looks like. Imagine you're sitting out by a beautiful ocean or a beautiful lake, and it's night and it's a new moon, so there's no light in the sky, and you see the stars going on forever, and you're sitting grounded on the earth in this humbled position of being this little human being on this most amazing, miraculous creation of life in the earth. That's how your intellect is supposed to be. When you're driving in the car, you're not supposed to be thinking about 100 things yesterday and tomorrow and not paying attention. Your intellect is supposed to be wide open, waiting to hear what intuition wants you to do, and then doing it. So that is the place that we say all the conflicts that are manifesting in the world take place between intuition impelling you to do for the good of the whole, and intellect and ego having the power to say no, basically to God. And this is the mastery that every human being is being challenged to take up right now. And that's why we come with Barbara on a pilgrimage, because these are conversations you have at your kitchen table, or in your group at church, or in your friends who do spiritual practices, or this is one person at a time. And it's very, very basic for you to have that relationship to yourself. And that is where peace all begins. So when you're looking at the world and how it's manifesting outside of yourself, and we understand there's a lot of conflict in the world, you have the opportunity to go within and find a way to align to compassion, and then you can help change naturally what is going to manifest in your life, how it's going to manifest, and how you can empower yourself to be that change, to become that change, first and foremost, from within. So would you like to ask any questions or have a conversation?
No, thank you. That was really beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing this information for my audience.
Yes,
I really appreciate
namaste
that.
to all.
Thank you. Hmm.
I think
Yes.
you can feel the difference. You know, I think when I talk, and I'm kind of,
Yes, I would like to. Yeah, I would like to just only spot it for the people who are watching us at the soul. I really advise everyone just only close their eyes and just really tune in that message, because I closed my eyes and I felt really, really, how can I say? Let me describe the energy. That was like a pumping energy, and that energy began around my solar plexus, and then there was a pumping, pumping, and pumping, like a heart beating. There was a beat by beat, beat by beat. But then I felt as well that spreading at the end of the message all over my body. So I was like, wow, I'm glowing from in out. But definitely, what I just only heard now, I'm hearing your voice completely different way. And also during that message, also that was a completely different way, because I've got that experience before when we come on that Zoom live. Then I was listening your channeling, and also that was a similar voice when you had a channel today for us. Thank you so much. Yes, that's completely different, and that's so powerful.
yeah,
Wow, I'm feeling like
yeah.
a,
And you know, when I first got to the UK, I think I flew in on the 26th of January, and I was invited to the Aetherius Society. I was on a podcast with Deborah Littleboy and Jack Stafford called Mysticast, and I'd never heard of the Aetherius Society, but they are a group around the world. One of the world headquarters is in London, in Fulham, and
huh.
from 1954, Dr. George King got the message that he was going to be the voice of what was called the Interplanetary Parliament, who was a group of interplanetary souls who were here to help work for world peace. And so they developed this society that has spread around the world. And I was invited to come to their ceremony. And then it was Dr. King's birthday. And he used to channel, I think he used to get in touch with Einstein back
Okay.
when, and he channeled the Master Jesus, which gave the Aetherius Society the 12 blessings that they, in any case, that was my first stop, was to be in this place with these people who were so attuned to exactly my message, only in the sort of master way.
Yeah.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
this message is like the kitchen table way, where we don't all have to go through just incredible rigors to be these sort of servants of a particular, that we can do this in our ordinary lives and make those transformations. And that's what I loved, was I felt like there was a merging of those two incredible, master, high level, high vibration, and then this need that we have right now to just be really human too, and bring it through our humanity.
Yeah, that's true. But also, what I just only got is like we need to unravel much more, because that the psychic ability, that channeling, that information, any kind of the information for the different light beings, that was my goodness, century and from the beginning of the earth, I would like to say. Because also I just only found in the UK the psychic college, that kind of the school, and also I can't remember, probably that. King Charles, and that was not this Charles, King Edward. Anyway, there's a lots of different kings from the UK been attending to that school. That school was built in an 18 something or like that. Anyway, that's so much vast information, but that information was suppressed and hidden from us to
Well,
live our life fully.
and the Church of England for centuries have accepted psychic talent and recognized it as a gift that needed to be nurtured, because
Yeah.
it could get out of hand if you weren't really surrounded by the divine. And so they had a whole section of the church that supported that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think a lot of it's been suppressed.
Yeah,
Of
that's
stuff.
a lot of things. Yes, thank you so much. Please tell my audience or the people who are watching us where they can find you and what you can offer for them to for that transformation, for that awakening time.
Well, you can find me at barbarawith.com. That's if you want to support my World Peace Tour, go buy a reading or two. They're on sale over there. I also have synergyalliance.llc. And that's everything. That's all the books, it's the events, it's the blog posts, it's a really comprehensive site that you can find out all about conflict revolution, about my online Zoom classes, my online channeling. And then if I'm going to have some live events, I'm hoping for to organize something here in the UK before I leave in April, to be able to just even pull a small group together, or offer a channel and invite people to come. Something's going on. So go to those two websites. And I'm also all over Facebook at Barbara With, and I'm on X and Insta, but mostly Facebook is my chatty platform.
Okay. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. That
You
was
are
amazing
welcome. Thank you for
conversation.
having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Hmm. Sorry, I don't know how to switch off this. So we need
Oh,
to have a little bit more chat.
well, at least you can just cut it off at the end.
Oh yeah. So I would like to say, everyone, thank you so much for watching and subscribe my channel, and also subscribe Barbara With channel.